Matt Bernie, you're joined by DRF's national handicapper Mike Watchmaker, taking a look at this week's Watchmaker Watch. And as always, you can find the updated Watchmaker Watch every Monday over on DRF.com. Mike, last weekend the Breeders' Cup Championships occurred. We saw a number of impressive performances, and accordingly, there were some shakeups in your rankings. Let's start off with the 2-year-old fillies. An impressive effort from Jaywalk that puts her at the top of the list.
It does, Matt. But frankly, I have to say, just a little shameless shilling here, I feel pretty good because I only have 3 new number ones this week. I mean, I could have been completely wrong going into this Breeders' Cup and had 7 new number ones. So I'm actually feeling good that there were only 3. But Jaywalk was very, very impressive, winning the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. Following on the heels of an ultra-impressive performance on the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies turf by Newspaper of Record. Jaywalk was previously number 3. She goes up to number 1. Newspaper of Record was previously number 5 because that's how impressive she was on turf in her first 2 career starts. She's up at number 2. It's going to be interesting to see what the Eclipse Award electorate does with either one of these fillies. Historically, this is a division that goes to dirt specialists like Jaywalk, but Newspaper of Record is a breathtaking filly.
Roy H., he comes back, and it looked like perhaps throughout the course of the year, maybe he was lacking a little bit of that form from 2017 that ultimately culminated with a year-end Eclipse Award. It looks like he's back to his best. He was impressive winning the sprint, and he's back on top for you.
I agree completely, Matt. I mean, last Saturday it looked like he could have run through brick walls and still won that race by 3 lengths, and he just about did. But, I had respect for him anyway. He was the reigning champ. He was number 2. Imperial Hint was the leader, I thought, going into the Breeders' Cup Sprint. He's a horse that just, I don't think, likes Churchill Downs at all. And Roy H. ran one of his best races, and he's now back-to-back winner of the Breeders' Cup Sprint, and he is very, very, very likely to be a back-to-back male sprint champion.
So those first 2 divisions, everything is nice and seems like it's right on par, and everything is nice and tight. Then all of a sudden you look at the turf males, and you've alluded to it in the past when we've looked at this division. I feel like we're at a point now where just throw a dart, and week in and week out it's going to be a different name. This week you have Expert Eye on top.
Does anybody have a better idea? I mean, I just had no idea what to do with this turf division. It's been a complete disaster. All year here in the U.S., I expected, some European male to come over and show something. And what turned out is the European females came over and showed something in the Breeders' Cup turf. The best male showing in the Breeders' Cup turf was Sadler's Joy. He was beating almost 10 lengths in that race. I mean, that was his best performance. And the Breeders' Cup Mile, I thought, was decidedly subpar mile field this year. And Expert Eye kind of came and picked up the pieces. It was a blanket finish. I know that you almost blew up the board with Divisional. And what does that say about this division? Yeah. I mean, Divisional is an admirable, hard-hitting horse, but he's never been a real, true, compelling grade 1 type animal. I Catapulta ran second in the mile. I got him at number 2. And then I put in, and I would never do this, but I just don't know what else to do. I put those 2 freaky turf sprinters at 3 and 4, Stormy Liberal and World of Trouble. I mean, I'm open to suggestion, but I don't think anybody's got a good idea. And when it comes to voting for Eclipse Awards, I just have no idea what to do in this division. I don't believe in abstaining from categories. I think that's a waste of a vote, but I just don't know what to do in this division. And I think I have a lot of company there.
I'm curious your thoughts real quick. It's sort of on social media, there's been a bit of a campaign for Stormy Liberal as champion turf horse based on what he's done throughout the course of the year. Is there any scenario where you could see yourself voting for him?
I'm not going to rule anything out this year. I mean, and it's been such a wacky year. At least he's put together a whole bunch of wins. At least he's a winning type horse. He's consistent. I mean, I think it goes against the natural spirit of the division to have a turf sprinter as a champion. I mean, it's a division that's basically built on long distance races, and it would really it would break with tradition, but this division almost cries for something like that this year, and maybe next year we can get back to some normalcy.
You can find the updated Watchmaker Watch every Monday over on DRF.com. DRF's national handicapper Mike Watchmaker with the Watchmaker Watch. Great stuff as always, Mike. Chat again soon.
Thanks, Matt.